Welcome and thank you for coming out to our hearing today. We are going to hear from some awesome folks, and I'm grateful to have our First Nation brother here, our first guest, who's going to I'm going to let him explain what he's going to lead us in. But his name is Samuel Tommy, and he is a member or citizen of the Seminole Nation. So without any further ado, Mr. Tommy, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's see. Good to be here with you all. I'm not sure who all is here. There could be some powerful politicians. I don't know who's here, but and then there could be some people who barely has any money to pay for the rent. So it's good to be here among every one of you. It's very good to see people come together, and it's good to see an organization like this put together an event like this one here. And I'm very thankful for the organizers. It takes time. It takes hard work to get it done. I'm thankful for the community members here. It's great. Most of all, I'm thankful that, and I'm very happy that we're all coming together and we all want something to happen. And this time what we want to happen is that we want to see some healing to the land. We want to see healing to the environment. We want to see the healing to the water, air. We want to see all that. Why? Because we all have future generations. We all have children that are here, and they're entitled. They're entitled to live a life that the Creator has designed for human beings to live. We have successfully changed this land. It has been successful at changing the land, changing the life system. A life system that the Creator had put here has been successfully changed so much that now we're all standing up on our feet. I tell my friends that it's no longer time to sing and dance. There's no more time to walk around with protest signs. There's really no time for that. What I personally feel is that it's time that the laws change. The laws and policies need to change. The laws need to change, because right now, anybody here cannot tell me that we have laws today that's going to guarantee a healthy generations, a healthy life for our future generations. No one can tell me today that there are laws right now protecting the future, guaranteeing a future for the future generations. No one can tell me that. And I know it's a fact. There are no laws guaranteeing that. There are no policies. We seem to keep voting people back into the office who are not going to do anything for us but for themselves. They're going to do things for other people. What seems to be happening and what people keep talking about today is that some people are going to survive if a catastrophe happens on this planet. If a war breaks out in this country, some people will survive. But we're not in that party. We're not on that boat. Unless if you got some bomb shelters, if you got a rocket that's going to shoot you up there somewhere and live up there for a while, If you're one of those people, make room for me, all right? I want to survive too. Yeah. And it's really, really, I'm really happy to be here. I know what this is called District 4, right? And I know it's recently that a lot of jobs have left this town. A lot of jobs have disappeared from this town. There are some empty buildings, like where the prison used to be, where the hospital used to be. There's empty buildings sitting around and nothing's going on. Why isn't it serving the people? Why isn't it serving the less fortunate people? There's so much that could be happening here. And myself, I feel like that, we need to, everybody needs to do what they can today so we change laws, because we can sing, we can dance, we can protest, but things are going to be still the same. It's the same thing that keeps happening over and over and over, and this is happening more. Like I said, if you're that millionaire, billionaire who can survive the catastrophe, put me on your ship. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Are we all like concerned for our children, grandkids? I have people that come up and tell me that, like for so long that, Native Americans were telling us that, you take care of the earth and you take good care of it, and everything is connected. If you disturb something, you're going to disturb the whole life system. People come and tell me that, natives were telling us these things and we never listened to them. And now here we are today. That's what they say. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's not that, you didn't listen to us entirely. It's that this country had an education system that totally ignored the Native Americans and how Native Americans have been here and they've had civilizations and governments and religions and a lot of practices for thousands of years. We're not talking about 200 years, we're not talking about 500 years. And it's because we have an education system that has suppressed a lot of education and keep everybody kind of naive so that, we're all, like chasing this dream of becoming a millionaire. It's called American Dream. We're so busy doing that, there's other people doing their own thing behind the scenes. And you know all about this. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir right now. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. And I'm gonna share a flute song with you. This is a song that came from a mountainside up in New Mexico, Zuni Reservation. This is a healing song, like I said. This is a song that I received from the life source, from the Spirit, and it provided a very good experience for me on the side of a mountain. My family was going through a grieving period, and we're going through a hard time, and we're also visiting our extended family up in New Mexico. And my family took me to the mountains, and I found a spot on the mountainside, and I picked up the flute. I was just learning how to play, so this flute song came on its own, and I kept it. And it's been like 20 years, and I've been using it privately, personally, but I share it now. This is a healing song, and I thank the Spirit, the Creator, the High Spirit, the Lord. Because on the mountainside, everything changed for me when I was playing. The valley was beautiful, the mountains were beautiful, and the song that came to me was very, very, it lifted me to a different level. It took me to a higher plane, which everything around me was completely sweet. My pain, my grieving, it went away. And I felt my departed in a whole different world where everything was totally sweet. I felt the Lord, I felt the Spirit, I felt the Creator, It was a very, very beautiful song. I would like to share this with you. If you would like to pray and think about things that you're worried about, people that you care about and love, and thank you for letting me share. It's a prayer song. You see, Everglades hasn't been here too long. What is it, 5,000 years maybe? And it has been a very, very unique place. We see it as something, and maybe you see it the same way as I do and my family, is that it is a very unique place. It's like the Creator said that, okay, I have built this whole planet here, and they all have beautiful, special places. But here, with my blessings and my power, the Everglades is going to be created, coming down from north into Lake Okeechobee and down south. It's like the Creator said that, this is going to be a very special place, where there'll be special birds, special animals, where there's one area where the fresh water runs south and runs into salt water on the inland part. My grandparents used to go down there and live out there sometimes, and they could find freshwater fish. They could find saltwater fish on the inland at the same place. You don't find places like that anywhere else. There are so many special places about the Everglades. It is tremendous. A lot has been lost and it's gone, but what I see is that, and what we have always seen, and what my tribal people have seen, is that it's the Spirit's, it's the Lord's, it's the Father's special gift. The Creator said, look what I have done. This is such a special place on planet Earth. And I don't think there has been any other creation within the past 500 years that's so very special like that. So the lake over here, my friends went around in like about 115 miles, 110 miles just a few weeks ago. They did a prayer, and I went with them, and I had my flute, and a song came to me as well. I'm going to use that. I'm going to play that song. First of all, I'm going to tell you that I carry water from my reservation. My reservation is 1 hour from here. I carry water with me. We have like 600 people to live there now on this particular reservation. The houses are far apart, and in between these houses we have sets of woods, what's called cypress domes. And so it's kind of like a quiet neighborhood that we live in. Broad daylight, we have panthers that will cross the main highway and go into a cypress dome inside our community. We have black bears that come out usually at nighttime, and we have a museum out there as well. That place is right next to the main road. There's people that come to the museum and visit. Right in the middle of the cypress dome, when all the water dries up, that's the drinking place for all the animals. There's even video shots of the panthers, black bears, all the other smaller animals that come and drink that water. And this is where I got this water, and I carry it with me. I carry it with me today because the black bears' habitats are being destroyed. The panthers have been destroyed. The environment have been destroyed. This is all these creatures that drink this water. They were created by the Creator. And this is what, we do to them. This is what we do to God's creation. It's like, no, thanks, God. Oh, wow. Yeah. How do we deal with that? What do we say to the Creator, to what we've done to this land? But this water here, like I said, I carry it with me and I share it. It's their energy. The water is created by the Creator Himself. And the water is Spirit. It's part of the Spirit, the Creator. So I like sharing their energy. This water was created by the Creator. All these animals that drank this water are created by the Creator. And personally, water is so sacred. Every day we use water. We pray to heal our thoughts. We pray to heal our spirit. We pray the water nourishes our bodies. This is how sacred it is for us. I feel it's something that people will never understand. But what I do know is that the Spirit is here as we are together. The Spirit is here and is always with us all the time. This is a song that came to me on the lake. since the Native Americans have been suppressed from the history books and we've been pretty much left out, I would like to say that I'm really happy with my teachings. And the teachings that I've had was that all religions, all people of different colors, all people of the world, even religions, we are all children of one God, of one Creator. And I was advised by my grandparents to never judge other religions, but pray with them. And this is what I'd like to share, and I'm really thankful. And I would like to say prayers that for the families and people around the lake, especially in this area in the south of the lake. There are families suffering from breathing problems. I see families that are fishing out in the streams and canals for their family, to feed their families, and these have chemicals in the water. I feel bad when I drive by and I see these, and please pray for them, and please keep your prayers up. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Brother Tommy.
Hello, you rock.
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. I feel so honored not only to have you here, but to have you share prayers and song and music, because we know that oftentimes our Native brothers and sisters are not, I won't say they're not allowed to, but don't necessarily share their music and their prayers in public spaces. So we're really grateful and honored.
Very grateful.
That you would grace us with your presence and with your music and prayers.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Very powerful.
Thank you. We are going to have another blessing by Pastor Steve, and we're going to hear from one of our guests as well, and then we're going to have a little break. So without any further ado, I would ask Pastor Messam to come and bless us.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm going to first do a quick prayer, and then I'm going to talk about my experience and why I'm here today to talk about our campaign that we have. So let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to gather together as united people, dear Lord. Heavenly Father, we just pray that you will bless this event. You will bless each and every family that is represented here today, that you will continue to bless this community. Bless its people, oh God. Keep us safe. Give us the opportunity, dear Lord, to enjoy our land, to enjoy our families, to enjoy our lives. And Heavenly Father, we just pray, dear Lord, we know that you are a God of justice. And we pray, dear Lord, that justice is something, dear Lord, that we all experience, regardless of our backgrounds or our socioeconomic experience, dear Lord. So, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for your love. We thank you for your grace. These are the blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, good afternoon again. Again, my name is Steve Messam, and I'm actually a local resident here in Belle, Glade. And I'm also an associate pastor at a church here. I've been born and raised here in Belle Glade. So if you're visiting us, I just would like to welcome you here to Belle Glade. Here we have a slogan that says, her soil is her fortune. And if you haven't noticed, whether you come in from the east or from the west or from the north to south, you may have noticed a lot of fields. And we have a lot of sugarcane here. We actually have over 400,000 acres of it that get harvested each year between the months of October, and it usually ends in April, but sometimes it can get extended into May and sometimes June due to weather or whatever issues that may delay them harvesting. It was these soils that brought my father, Hubert Messam, to this great country from the island of Jamaica. He came as one of the contracted migrant workers who worked the sugar canes way before they had the mechanical harvesters. He was one of those individuals who were paid 75 cents a row to cut the cane so that it can be harvested. Fast forward now, they're not cutting the cane anymore. They have what we call these mechanical harvester that goes down and pick up the cane. But before that happens, they do this pretty much old and archaic practice to actually get the cane ready for harvesting, and it's called pre-harvest burns, which means they pretty much starts a fire in the field, and the fire blows and it pretty much burns what they call the leaves and the trash off. So when the harvester goes and pick it up and brings it to the factories, it's a lot more easier for, I guess, it to go through the machines. Well, that practice has caused a lot of issues here in our communities. Even though it's been going on for so long, nobody has really talked about the negative impacts, not just on the health side, but also the quality of life side. So I got involved in this Stop the Burn campaign about 3-4 years ago with a group of friends, because we noticed that a lot of folks that we knew, whether it was close family members, whether it's our kids or people who we knew, were suffering from a lot of respiratory issues, whether it was asthma or allergies. And a lot of people were also dying from cancer at a crazy rate. So we started to look around and see like what is causing this, and it linked us to the pre-harvest burning, and then we reached out to the Sierra Club, who came in and kind of helped us organize ourselves, in which is now we're starting to educate our communities. There's a couple of things that are kind of going on which makes this issue somewhat of an injustice issue for us. One of it is the type of regulatory practices they have when it comes to burning. If you're not familiar with the Glades community, we are a lot of minority folks live here in the Glades, Black and Hispanic and different Hispanic countries or nationalities. And just east of us is a very more affluential part of Palm Beach County, which is Wellington and Waxahachie. Well, the industry decided to give them a courtesy. And if you see this chart behind me, whenever the Office of Forestry is out, because they have to get permits to do these burns, it is regulated, but whenever the wind is blowing due east towards our more affluential neighbors, they don't get the go-ahead to burn. But whenever it's blowing west, or right around our homes or our schools, they give them the permit and they burn away. Obviously, that's a problem. If the more affluential folks who didn't like the black snow that we call, the trash that falls from the air once the cane is put ablaze, once they started complaining about it, they gave them the common courtesy, okay, we won't burn when it's blowing that way. But they won't give us, who literally live in the middle of these fields, that same courtesy. So there's a lot of things where we think that should not be that way, which is why we are trying to give an alternative to the pre-harvest burning, which is why we're calling this Stop the Burn. We're telling them to go green. What we mean by going green is that same harvester machine that goes down the field that currently picks up the pre-harvested burn cane, it actually can pick it up green. How we know this? Other countries are doing it, and the industry is doing it. They're doing it whenever it's probably too wet for them to burn. And you may hear a couple of stories, but I'll share one. They're also doing it for a big corporation that starts with a W over in Clewiston, where they've given them the common courtesy not to burn within a 10-mile radius of that store. So, here are some of the benefits. If we're saying instead of burning up what they consider trash, that could be another man's treasure. Green harvesting will produce a lot of more jobs and economic opportunities for our community. Matter of fact, the industry has already started to use bagasse, which is a byproduct, or after the cane stalk has gone through the factory and spit out everything it needs to spit out. The bagasse is what they use to actually power their plant. So they're completely off the grid. They have their own electricity due to the bagasse. They're also using the bagasse to create paper plates, paper cups and napkins and different type of products that they're selling. And what we're saying is, why not do that on a larger scale? Because countries like Brazil and Australia and even the state of Louisiana is going green harvesting. And they're selling the trash, the leaves and stuff that they're currently burning, to companies to use as mulch. They're also doing biochar, which is an alternative fuel. And we're saying, why not make the Glades? Why not make Muck City, which we affectionately call the surrounding communities of Pahokee, Belle, Glade, and South Bay, a green community where we can be a beacon of hope for the country, where we're using, things that our Creator has given us to create energy, to create other products, and give people another opportunity for more jobs. So what we're asking in our campaign is just for the industry to be good neighbors. Instead of throwing their trash, which is the black snow and the smells and everything that you will see throughout today's, from the negative impacts of it, but also it's impacted me and my family in a health way, because I have a 5-year-old son. When we were living in West Palm, we moved over here when he was 2, or we moved back home when he was 2. And he never had respiratory issues. But when we moved over here, it was during the cane burning season. Next thing you know, we had to put him on a breathing machine. He's taking all kind of medicine for allergies, and he has problem whenever they're burning. My wife, who's also born here and raised here, after moving back home, after being gone for a while, because we live in a couple of other states, she started to get respiratory tract infections. My allergies personally started to act up once I went off to college and came back home for the first time during the Christmas break, and they were burning and my allergies went haywire. So as a lot of people tell you, we know that there's a problem. It's just that since it's always been this way, nobody's speaking up. Well, that's changed.
Yeah. That's right.
Because we're here, we're not going anywhere, and we're just asking the industry to be good neighbors, stop burning, go green, and let us be able to enjoy this community where we were born and raised, where we live, work, play, and have a great quality of life. Since we've been more vocal and since we've started to have flyers go out to our communities, we're starting to get pushback from the industry. There's a couple of organizations have sent out flyers that saying that the industry, that the Glades has the best quality of air in the whole state of Florida, which is
That
a lie.
ain't right. No.
It's a lie. And you're going to hear more about that from some other folks who are going to be speaking today. But we're here to push back, because instead of coming and talking to the residents, like myself, who's speaking up, they're trying to point the finger at the outsiders, the Sierra Club, because they know the outsiders is an opponent that they can get the community around. Hey, they're trying to take your jobs. They're trying to close down factories. No, we're not. If anything, we're trying to add jobs. We're trying to add opportunities. At the same time, making it better for us to live, work, and play here. So that's my story. I'm glad that the Poor People's Campaign has chosen to come here to allow us to put this on an even larger scale. I know this is getting screamed. I know folks are going to be seeing this and going to be hearing more about it. We're here to share as much information that we can. We're looking for an opportunity to get more of our citizens here in the local area and part of our campaign educated, so when it's time for us to make an even louder cry, that they can't keep saying the outsiders. They got to say, oh, my employee, my mom, my aunt, my cousin, my sisters, folks who live here, there's a problem. So we thank you. Hopefully you guys will support us as we continue to do more things. And with that, I'm done with my spiel. And I think we're going to have
We have several folks.
several more folks who are going to come up and speak more as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Messer. I apologize. I did not formally introduce myself. My regional representative had to come over and give me a tap on the shoulder. My name is Donna Cotterell. I am on the leadership team, and we have several folks in the audience who are part of our Poor People's Campaign. I'm going to ask Dan Jones to step up. He's with our national. He's an organizer from right here in Southern Florida.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having us here, for the Sierra Club having us here in your office, and for the people of Belle Glade from the region for welcoming us here. So we're with the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. This is the Florida organizing that's a part of that campaign, are some of the folks who are here coming to hear from y'all about what's happening in this region, what's happening all across our state, and to get connected with y'all and figure out how we can win, right? how we can really start to change things all throughout the state of Florida. We're one of, I think, about 40 states who are actively organizing as part of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival, and one of almost 30 states who are doing what we're calling the real national emergency truth and poverty tours, right? We know that there's been a fake national emergency declared, right? It's not the emergency. It's not the thing that's killing our people and our families. It's not what's giving our families health problems, right? Our people coming trying to survive, right? That's not the emergencies we're dealing with. We're here on this Truth and Poverty Tour talking about the real national emergencies, right? The emergencies of systemic racism, of poverty, of the war economy and militarism, and of ecological devastation, right? Which are all of the issues that we're dealing with here in Belle Glade. I'm from Miami. It's what we're dealing with down there. We got folks here from Tallahassee. It's what they're dealing with up there. Yesterday we were in Immokalee and in Fort Myers and in Miramar. It's what folks are dealing with all over this state. These are the emergencies, right? These are the struggles that we're in every day. And so the purpose of the Poor People's Campaign and of this Truth and Poverty Tour is to start to change the narrative in this country, right? The story that gets told about who's poor and why we're poor, right? We're told that we're poor because we're lazy, right? We're told that we're poor because we're crazy or stupid or something's not right with us, right? When there's something wrong with the system, there's something wrong with the policies that are being passed, the laws that are being passed, the things coming out of Tallahassee this legislative session are just evil, right? They're immoral, they're wrong, we're not wrong, right? And so the purpose of this Truth and Poverty Tour is to expose the real emergencies, what's really going on, who's really responsible, and also to start to build power, right? Power concedes nothing without a demand, right? It's the same people who benefit from the destruction of the Everglades, right? From this kind of burning of sugarcane and poisoning and killing people and poisoning the water and the air and the land. The same people benefit from cutting us off health care, right? The same people refuse to expand Medicaid. The same people try to keep our wages low, right? The same people benefit. They are cynical enough and mean enough to get together to hurt us. They got a rich people's campaign coming after us. We need a poor people's campaign to counter that, right? So that's why we're here. We're here to say that you are not alone. You are not crazy, right? It is not your fault, right? And the only way we can change this is to get together across all the lines they try to divide us on, right? They try to divide us on immigration status, on religion, on race, on gender, on ability, on what type of community we live in, on political party, on all that. They try to divide us when it's the same people hurting us, right? And so that's the point of this campaign, is to meet each other, is to get to know each other, is to say we see you, we support you, you're not alone, and the only way we can win is if it's not just the people getting affected by sugarcane burning and these issues having to fight on that, right? And it's not just the immigrants fighting on immigration, and it's not just people without health care fighting around health care, right? And it's not just people being brutalized by the police fighting against that, right? It's to recognize that we've got to get together. We've got to organize. And so that's the purpose of this tour. We're mainly here to say we see you, we love you, we support you, and we want to figure out how do we build from here the kind of power that can really start to change policies, start to change the narrative, really, and really start to shift things in the state and turn it around, turn it upside down and right side up, right? And so we're so grateful to y'all for having us, and we really look forward. This is a first step to continue to build with all of y'all here in Belle Glade and throughout the state of Florida to build this campaign. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you, Dan. And I also want to introduce the rest of our Florida Poor People's Campaign contingency. We have Carol and Zonia behind there on the camera, and Isabel Ruano, and she's up there in Tallahassee with me. And again, our Regional National Director, Danielle Holmes there. Thank you. So I'm going to introduce the next speaker, and while she's coming up, I'm going to sing one of our campaign songs that actually comes from the old movement, and we are graced, believe it or not, to have someone who was with us for the original Poor People's Campaign. Michael, if you could just stand up really quickly. And he has a 1968 Poor People's Campaign button on. Thank you for supporting us, Michael.
I was in jail for 3 weeks with, at the original life. Tired of the people.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around.
Ain't
Gonna let
nobody
turn me around. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching on to freedom land. Yes. And so without any further ado, I'm gonna ask Shanika Scott to come on up. Ain't gonna let Big Sugar turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let Big Sugar turn me around. We're gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching on to freedom land.
All right. I'm part of the art, so when I hear singing, and I try to, visualize dance and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So, everyone, welcome to Belle, Glade, Florida. Yes. Also, we do have, the city of South Bay and the city of Pahokee as well that are a part of the Tri-City area. So when we say the Glades, we're talking about those three cities as well. Actually, I'm not sure why I'm up here because my classmate, Stephen Messam, he said everything. He told you everything about, why we're here. I'm a part of the Stop the Burn campaign as well, so I was definitely one of those ones that he spoke about in regards to that group coming together because we saw a concern. I was born and raised in the city of Belle Glade and South Bay. I mean, my mom lived in both cities. And so, growing up, we saw the the black ash as being normal. Something that you would see, you're like, this is black snow. And so we used to play in the black ash and also see the billows of smoke and, think that it was just normal because we lived in a sugarcane burning area. So you didn't complain, you didn't say anything, and that was it. However, when you grow up and you're educated and you become aware of some things, you say, wait, this can't be right. This is not right, especially coming back home and also hearing the stories of all of, my family members. I've been hearing stories. I was hearing stories of different residents. I'm actually a former mayor and a commissioner of the city of South Bay. So even in leadership, I was one of the things, our biggest, concern, should be our biggest concern, is that, what are the issues and the concerns of the people? And so going around and sitting with, my constituents, we're sitting down and we're just talking, and every person will just mention it. What are y'all going to do about this sugarcane burning? And I'm like, what can we do about it? I'm not thinking that we can do anything because I'm, really in my mind, this is how it's always been. This has been like this for centuries. What can we do about it? And so, of course, being inside of, those meetings, being inside of those homes, hearing the stories even of my family members, those ones who have passed, even of cancer. One of my good friends and also my grandmother had a sugarcane burning field right next to their homes, and they died of cancer. And so I'm not saying that everybody who dies of cancer, they came in contact with the sugarcane burning. But what I'm saying is those different things that are being, released out into the environment. We don't know what's in those, in that burning. We don't know what particulates. We don't know what particles, what they're releasing over us. We don't. And I mean, it could be pesticides, it could be anything else. I mean, we just know, we say pesticides, but it could be God knows what, we don't know. And so, of course, coming back home and really wanting to be involved in the community. I love this community. I grew up here. So it's definitely a genuine concern. Like, we have to do something. And so, seeing, I mean, even stories, I'm gonna just tell you one story. My sister, she's a hair dresser, so she owns a salon here. And she would tell me of the different clients that would come into her salon, and they would have like the black ash. She would wash their hair and black ash will come out in the sink. Because, of course, what can you do when ash is falling everywhere? You walking out the door, it meets you in your car, it's all over your car. And one of the things is that I don't think the sugarcane companies, they consider the cost that's associated with it. We have to wash our cars. Okay, no one is sending checks for us washing cars. We have to pressure clean our homes, especially those ones who care about the aesthetics and the outside of their home and how it looks. You have to. It's a cost that is associated with injustice. And seriously, we thought nothing we can do. We really didn't think that we could do anything. But one of the things that was a highlight for me is that the sugarcane company, they actually introduced me to the Sierra Club. They did. They came into our meeting one day and they were just saying, like, the Sierra Club, this is an environmental group, and they're this and they're that. And I was like, oh, really? Well, of course I need to know for myself. So I did some research and I called the Sierra Club. So I called to California, their headquarters, and I was saying, well, this is what's going on. I was telling them my story. I was telling them that we were concerned about, the billows of smoke. We were concerned about people having respiratory issues and problems. My sinuses coming back home has been crazy. When I tell you, during the sugarcane burning season, I'm always having issues with sinus infections. And I know that it was a correlation because, of course, when you're away, you don't have those different issues. Seriously, I did it. Only when I came back home and I started to live here and started to work here, and it became an issue. And so, when I called them, I told them about the issue, and they immediately sent someone out. And that's how, the local residents, ourselves, got in contact with the Sierra Club. Now, one of the things that we're hearing is that, oh, well, the Sierra Club is, paying them to do this. I'm straight volunteer. I'm just going to put that out there. Straight volunteer. Because this is where I live, this is where my family lives, and this is where I work. I have a business. I own a business. I own a dance studio. And one of the things during the sugarcane burning season, half of my kids, seriously, they are suffering with asthma. They're suffering with their asthma just flares up during that time, so they're out. Half of them have to be on their breathing machine inside the studio. Now I'm teaching these kids how to care for their bodies, how to, of course, exercise and be healthy and eat healthy. But then, of course, we have, this organization business, which is just like Stephen mentioned. We want them to just be good neighbors. It's not that we're trying to say, get out of here, we hate you. No, no. We want them to just be good neighbors. And if it's an alternative, please take the alternative. At least look into it. Bring us to the table. Say, let's meet. Let's discuss. It's almost as if, seriously, as me being even the mayor, it was hard to even, have those conversations with them because it was almost like, who are you? You're the only one complaining. That's what they told me. I was the only one complaining.
They were lying.
And I know, but that's what they told me. So when you mentioned and you said that, you guys are not crazy. We're here. I was like this. Finally, someone feel our pain. Like, we're not crazy. We're not just, taking, time out of our day just to be, just to be a fuss and just, no, we want to live in peace. But the thing is, we want them to be good neighbors too as well and care about the community that they make money in.
Yes.
Billions of dollars.
Yes.
In our city. And one of the things that I was challenging them about is that our city should even look even better than what it does. Yes. You're not even investing. Now, we're not talking about chicken, for football games, or you're donating, little small things. We're talking about investing in the community, and one of the biggest thing that they can do is stop burning. Now that's how you can invest, because now you're caring about our health, you're caring about our kids who are suffering with these things. And one of the things that the doctor told one of my friends, and then of course I heard it myself too as well, and they would tell us, well, you need to move.
Oh,
wow.
Okay, so seriously, I do have, the option. I do have options where I can move somewhere else. However, some people don't have those options. My 80-year-old grandmother, she don't want to have that option because she have bought a house, it's paid for, she want to stay in her home. So what do? We say, oh, family, get up, let's go, and we're out of here. Everybody can't do that. So definitely that's an injustice. And one of the things why the doctors, they won't say anything because, of course, more visits, more what? Money. More visits, more money. Exactly. More visits, more money. And so their careers are on the line too as well. And we know that this is, something where it cringes. And I mean, we even have some of our own, residents not being aware of certain things. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to educate them. I want to show you one picture before I leave, because I know this is right across the street from me. This is my neighbor's house. When I walked out the door that day and I took that picture, I said, seriously, at first I thought my house, but my neighbor's house was on fire. So I'm like going over, I'm like, Mr. Anderson, Mrs. Anderson, I mean, they're elderly people. Are you okay? They're like, yes, but of course they go, but we can't go outside. Why? Look at this. So one of the things that the industry is saying that, but when we burn, it's not hazardous, it goes straight up. Do this look like it's going straight up? That's what they tell us. It goes straight up. And I'm like, really? So one of the things that, concerned me was this, and this is by our schools, this is in our community. I mean, we have fields everywhere. And so not even, coming to the table and say, you know what, just like we consider, other organizations and do a 10-mile radius, we'll do that for your homes, we'll do that for your schools. Nothing. Oh, you're the only one complaining. You guys are just trying to run us out of, run us out of business. And I'm like seriously? Like, you can actually see this tangibly. It's not nothing someone just made up. Something that we're just saying, we're just making this up. We're not making this up. These are actual pictures. And I'm telling you, if you even go on the Facebook page, you'll see even more pictures and videos that we have uploaded of these burnings, and especially on a Sunday. Oh, wow. I mean, of course, you see billows of smoke everywhere. But we have to deal with it. We have to deal. It's almost like you have to deal with it. They don't live here. They don't. And when I say they, I'm talking about the owners of the sugar company's industry. They do not live here. Their kids do not have to suffer with billows of smoke throughout, 8 months? And when they have a good season, they extend that because they're making more money as they continue to burn. We're just not considered. And it's sad, and it's an injustice. So that's why I'm a part, and that's why I have to speak up. I have to say something about it. Mayor or no mayor, commissioner or commissioner, whatever title I have, I'm going to speak up on behalf of the city of South Bay, Belle, Glade, and Pahokee, because the Glades is where we live, and this is our home. Thank you.
Donna, Gina's here.
Thank you, Shaniqua.
Shanique.
Shanique, sorry, my bad. Shanique, thank you, Shanique.
I know, right?
I am grateful to have those voices lifted up. One of the things that we focus on is impacted folk. And hearing from impacted folk versus representatives makes a huge difference. So thank you, Shanique. And hi. I think we're a little off on our time, and one of our guests is here on her lunch break, and we want to make sure that we hear from her. So without any further ado, and I feel like she's a celebrity because she was in a video speaking about the black snow. So without any further ado, Keena Phillips, thank you for coming.
Thank you all for having me today. It's very humbling to be used to fight against something that others won't. I'm a firm believer that we was raised up for a time as this. We was born in a region to fight this fight. It's not by coincidence that we're being chosen to be here this day and to start this fight a couple of years ago. The Lord knew that we were strong enough. He knew we wasn't going to compromise. He knew that we didn't care how you come against us. He knew that we wasn't going to be going back and forth and debating with you. We're going to put the truth out there, and the truth has its own power by itself. So that's what we stand on. So I'm now 6th generation in this community. 6th generation strong. And don't plan on going anywhere no time soon, because that's not what the Lord has showed me. So while I'm here, I have to do the fight that I don't want my kids to do.
That's right.
I'm not finna leave this burden on my children, because they have so much other stuff that God has called for them to do, and I'm not gonna leave a burden on them to fight something that we should and our ancestors before us should have done already. And our community have settled for too long for pennies. Because just like the community say, our soil is our fortune, and we didn't allow a company to come in and really rape us and kill us slowly with what belongs to us. That what we see now, we don't even have as much of as we used to have. Our soil is disappearing. Why? Because it's not even being taken care of the way that it should be taken care of. Why? Because of practices that people have got so familiar with. We growing up in, and let me tell you how hypocritical it has become. I remember years ago when Rosenwald, which is the school that I live feet away from, which is the school that I went to when I was a little girl.
Me too.
Me too.
All of us. And so back in the days when we used to go to school, we had open quarters. So in the open quarters, the smoke, when they burn, the smoke, everything come on the quarters, the black snow come on the quarters, the snakes come on the quarters, and the roaches come on the quarters, and everything, when we go from class to class, it's in the facility, right? So it becomes hypocritical when a couple of years back, when we decided that, we need us a new school, because they just looked all over South Bay. They didn't want to give us a new school. We don't have enough people attending. The score is not high enough. All kinds of stuff. So we came together. Everybody could collaborate, because this is something that everybody wanted. So we come together on one accord. We put on our green shirts, and we go over to the school district, and we tell them, we need 3 new schools. They want to give 1 school. They say, but Rosenwald was the one supposed to get the school first. No, we want to give y'all Gold. Gold say, no, we're not taking just Gold. We need all 3 schools. We stood up for each other. Guess what our main thing that we used to get to school? Well, when they burning the sugar cane, all of the smoke come on the quarters, and we got the black snow coming on us. And would you allow your children to live and try to learn in these type of conditions? Would you allow your children? Now we're talking about the same school that's there now. That's what we use. That's what got us out of school. But now you have somehow got amnesia and forgot that those problems still exist.
That's right.
They haven't went nowhere. So, a couple years, we got to school. When the school came, my child, she's 13 years old now, she's in the 7th grade. At this time, she was in the 3rd grade. They left the windows open. Fire. Look like it's finna come inside of the school, because the cane grow all the way up to the gate. So the kids look over and they don't see nothing but fire. Kids screaming and hollering. And they look over, they were like, we forgot to close the windows, because they forgot to give them a warning that they was going to burn by the school. How you go back to learning math, English, and reading when you thinking you finna burn up? Why should our children even have to suffer with that? Why should our schools be so filled with inhalers? Why? It was normal to us growing up. Girl, go get your inhaler. Come on, let's go and go play. It was normal. That's what we were used to. Why? Because our generation in the past dropped the ball. They didn't say that this wasn't right. They were trying to survive. They were trying to do what they got to do to survive. But let me tell you something. We have more access now than we ever had to things. We don't have to sell it anymore.
That's right. That's right.
We don't have to sell it anymore. It seriously is a time for change. It is. It's just too much environment. Everybody going green. I don't know what their problem is. Everybody going green. I mean, like, why are you still asleep? Everybody going green. Everybody want organics. Everybody want to do something that's healthy for their bodies and stuff. Why not go green? Because you don't care nothing about the community. Why? Because you're worried about your pockets. Money is more valuable than lives. That's why you don't want to go green. You don't want to go green because you say, who are they to tell us what we should and shouldn't be doing? But I tell you, Dealer Davids, around him, we're not going to stop till we slay these giants. We're not going to stop. God said, use what you got in your hand. Use your mouth. Your mouth is very powerful because, listen, we don't have to go back and forth with them or anything. People are attracted to us and our truth or what's going on. They're coming and finding us because we're standing up against people that never been stood up against. Ever been stood up against. Whatever they want to do, they do it. Why? Because we have to deal with the relationships they have with leadership in the communities. Relationships they have with people who, I ain't gonna say we, who they voted in to them seats, and they will not get them out the seats, and they got these corrupt relationships with these companies, and they throwing their communities under the bus. Not just the community, they throwing their own families. Because listen, their families stay here. Their moms, pops, their children, their grandchildren, they stay here. We had one commissioner tell us, yeah, because we were growing up, everybody, all my siblings, 5 or 6 of them had asthma problems. Everybody except for me, so I know it's a problem. But because of who you going through, who caused you connected to the Sierra Club, y'all dealing with outsiders. Listen to this right here now. Let me give you an eye opener. How in the world you want to say that we dealing with outsiders when they are in the United States? You connected to a sugar company. The owner's not even residents of the United States. Who dealing with the outsiders? I'm trying to figure out like what they missing. Like who dealing with the outsiders? These people don't even have never business money made here. That's all. Money being made here. They find them a gold mine and they milking it. I mean, and that's what people do when you don't have. It is really a heart condition.
Yeah, it is.
It seriously is a heart condition because it's all right to have a good company, and in every company that you know, always finding innovative ways to better their company, coming up with new ideas. They'll even fire people and hire people that they feel as though gonna bring something that's gonna make the company grow. Better for the consumers, better for the place where they live at or reside at. That's what companies do. They always growing. Why are you trying to stay in the 80s? I'm like, I just don't understand this. When you burning up money, what you call trash is really treasure. You burning it up. You say, oh, you all about the community and you want to give jobs, but you burning up jobs. What is it if you're going to extend your season from 6 months to 8 months, that extra money that you made in those 2 months, build a facility. That's right. Do something with it. Build a facility. And then bring in them leaves and make them products. Start getting the leaves from around our community, then phase out. Why you the only one want to phase out? Come on now. And then what the problem is that I have too is because it's racial injustice, because it's certain areas where you feel as though you want to, we're a complimentary green harvest around there, or we'll show complimentary notices to certain areas and let them know that we're finna burn. Why are you giving out a warning? People don't give out warnings unless it's a problem.
That's right.
I mean, like, warning shows that, okay, something finna happen. We got to, you know what I'm saying? We got to prepare ourselves for something that's not right. That's why you give out warnings. You don't give out warnings for nothing. So, if you not giving out warnings everywhere, why? Because you're trying to hide the problem, but you're trying to look out for your certain areas in the community, certain businesses in the community. And don't say, well, we don't have the money, or we don't have the machines. We got videos of machines of green harvesting in the community where they want a green harvest at. But you don't care about Rosenwald kids. You don't care about behind my house where the sugar cane burn at. You don't care about around my neighbors and everybody else. You don't care about that. And then you want to lie and say, oh, we got organic sugar and all that. You lying. You ain't got no organic sugar. You ain't got no organic sugar. And the thing of it is you try to make it seem like the smoke that we're taking in, oh, it's not hazardous. Come on now, common sense will tell you if you got pesticide, which is being sprayed all over our community every day. Every day. Pesticide, these little planes are spraying these fields. And if you put fire to it, you cannot tell me that that's not hazardous to us. And who breathing it in? Who breathing it in? Not the sugar company. They're not doing it. They're not finna let their family stay here. And I really do pray that God have mercy on those that get on these videos and lie. Oh, well, ain't nothing happened to my family. I pray that it stays that way. Me too. Because let me tell you something. You can't hold the people down. You can't keep on putting your feet on their neck and making them live in a way that is not right and think that you're going to continue to prosper. It don't work that way. You reap what you sow. And I pray God have mercy. But we will see, and I ask the Lord, let us see before we close our eyes the change in our communities. Because we're going to continue to fight. We're not going to let up. And we're not just fighting just for our family. The same ones that come up against us. That say because we're Christian, oh, we sheep and we're wolves in sheep clothing and all that kind of foolishness there. We fighting for them too. We want them to have fresh air too. Because that's where our heart is at. We want them to have fresh air too because we understand that people are on assignment. People are trying to survive. When you got folks that got to get money any means necessary, they does stuff like that. And so we expect it. When you're on assignment as important as this one, you got to expect for people to come up against you. Even the ones that you're fighting for, you have to expect that. You do. It's a problem when the winds blow this way. It's burn, baby, burn. But if it blow to the east, they got all kind of paperwork and writing, or you can't burn, and if the wind blowing that way, and which I commend the East for standing up for themselves. Yeah. So we got to have a voice for our people until their voice finally wake up. That's right. We're going to stand in the gap and we're going to speak until their voice finally wake up. And I believe that it is. Because when we talk to people, when our brochures went out and we talked to people, and they was like, yeah, that is true right here. Yeah, this is going on. And I'm like, listen, you need to come on the campaign. You need to speak your truth. All these people right here sick. Yeah, my baby be suffering with. And I'm like, you got to say something. You can't just settle. When my grandbaby was born, and he had to go on the machine, and we couldn't hardly take him outside because he couldn't hardly breathe. Hey, Grandma got to do something. That's right. Right on. Grandma can't just stand there and let that happen. When my spiritual mom, you've seen pesticide inside her blood and all that kind of stuff there. Wait a minute. I got to see, hey, I'm a daughter. I got to say something. I got to do something. I got to do something. See, one thing, I talk about the Lord a lot. One thing God is calling for us to be is peculiar people. Not doing things the same way everybody else is doing. Right. And one of the biggest problems that we have right here that's holding us back, the Lord is waiting on the church. Until our leaders get on board and start fighting for the people, or they got a closed mouth. And if you got a closed mouth, you on the other side. Yes. And that's just straight up. I mean, like, it ain't no sugarcoating. It is what it is. You need to stand up for what's right. God was about injustice. He was about fighting for injustice. That's what Jesus did. That's right. That's right. He went where the poor people was at. That's right. You know, he humbled himself. And we have to have a voice as the body of Christ to fight for injustice. And we have to be persecuted for his name's sake. Not because people see us doing foolish stuff, but because we're standing up for what's right, and we expect for people to come up against us because we're doing what's right. So I thank you all for, taking notice of what we're going through and considering our stuff that we have going on. I really do thank you all for this, because it's been hard. It's been hard. I mean, like, numbers drop with support, then they'll go back up or whatever. But listen, we remain strong because we know that we was assigned to this. We was assigned to this. Let me tell you one more thing, then I'm gonna leave. When I first decided to get on this, I knew I was supposed to be on this, and I went to my husband. I was telling him what I was gonna do, and he said, "Listen, if this is what God has called you to do, this is what you do." And so I began to start speaking out, and people started taking notice, and then it got back to my husband's job, because my husband worked for the shipping company. And so they wound up pulling him in the office. And we're like, "Oh, you got a wife?" And he was like, "Yeah, your wife named Keena Phillips." And he was like, "Yeah. Oh, well, we see that she's saying this and she's saying that." He said, "Hey, she grown. She do that. I can't tell her what to do. She grown." And stuff. And he was like, and it was the HR person. "Oh, well, I need for you to tell her, get her my number and tell her to come out here. We need to talk. I need to take her on a tour, and we need to show." And he came. He said, "Well, baby, this is what they said." I said, "Baby, this is what you tell them." I said, "I don't need to go on another tour to no sugar company. I don't need no number from an HR person, because HR, they ain't got nothing to do with what's going on out in the fields. I need to talk to somebody who can make some changes, who can make some decisions, somebody who can." I need to talk to a big man. I ain't need to talk to nobody that's trying to intimidate your job. I don't need to talk to nobody that's trying to make it seem like try to do this scare tactic. I don't need to talk to that. No, I don't need to talk to you. I need to talk to somebody who is up in the high level. They're gonna say, "Okay, let's get to the table. Why haven't we got to a table yet?" That's right. You put all of these little fake little pamphlets out there, and you spending money on all of these little bogus commercials, but you too coward to come and sit to a table with us. Why not sit to the table? Same ones that's working, being the puppets, and letting them do them like this here. They said, "Oh yeah, well, we gonna meet with them." Haven't heard anything from them yet. Why? What are you intimidated by? The truth. That's what it is. You know what the truth is, and you don't want to face the truth, because why? It's going to cut the money in your pocket. That's right. That's why. It's going to cut money in your pocket, because you know what the truth is. Sit to the table with us. Talk to us. Consider us. People don't want to face the truth. They say they do, but that's a hard pill to swallow, especially when you feel as though it's going to mess with your pocket. It's a very hard pill to swallow, but if you got a heart for people, you'll swallow that pill. Right. Because guess what? God will grow and make your business be in abundance. You'll come up with new products, new everything that other people have never even thought of doing, because you consider his people. And people got to understand that. So, I could go on and on and on. I could go on and on and on. But I just thank y'all. I had to come. I'm on my lunch break. So I had to come and stop by, because I'm passionate about this. I love what it is that I do. And, it's a sacrifice, because, like, everybody in the team, my husband do work for the sugar company, and they can be nasty, and they could come up against him, which they have done different things or whatever, but he hangs in there. And I'm like, "Baby, what you want me to do?" He said, "Listen, do what the Lord has called you to do." And that's what he do. And I believe God covers him and protect him. And keep him at peace through everything that goes on, even when they take his weekends or when they change his position. Whatever it is they do, he just go with the flow of it. So I just bless God for him, and I'm going to keep on fighting. I have to.
today and gave us your truth. Thank you, Ms. Keena Phillips. I don't know what the next step is, but we will definitely be in touch with you because the Poor People's Campaign is about lifting those voices. And as Dan said, y'all are not crazy, and we are here to support you in whatever we need to do. And we're grateful to the Sierra Club for allowing us to be here. Thank you.
When I tell you, I just want to say this. I really thank the Sierra Club because if it had not, and Shanique, because if it had not been for the unction of the Holy Spirit to try to find out, well, who this company is. When she was in leadership over our city and city of South Bay, I think you was the mayor at that time or the commissioner, one of them, or whatever, and she had an unction in her spirit to try to find out who this company is that the sugar company trying not to let us know who they is. Like, okay, well, give me a call. Let me see who they is. You know? And then for them to hear what it is that we got going on and then decide that, okay, well, let us come and help. See, because they trying to make it seem as though the Sierra Club came and got a handful of people and brainwashed us to make us do stuff to steal land and flood out the cities and take away jobs and all this kind of crazy stuff. Sierra Club didn't come at us. We went at Sierra Club. They just embraced what we was doing. And we really appreciate everything that they do because they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to put all of their power and their resources and their fight. They didn't have to put that behind what we're fighting with when it comes to injustice. They decided to do it. And so I don't care nothing about what been fed to them and what they've been brainwashed with when it comes to the Sierra Club. We know the truth about them. We live it. Like Sierra Club does more than just the injustice when it comes to this. Even with my nonprofit organization, there's not been one time that I poured back into the community, to pour into women's lives and stuff, that they have not donated and supported me into what I was doing. When I did my event in December, pouring back into the community, the team here and the Sierra Club, all of them supported me in what, so it's bigger than, we're a family. It's bigger than what they think it is. So you can't sit and say, oh, they're brainwashing us. And no, we probably brainwashed them into our stuff. So we just have to let the truth be known out there. You know what I'm saying? They helping us. We're not helping them with anything. You know? So I just bless God for the Sierra Club. I truly do. Thank you.
The mayor, and speaking of mayors, the mayor of Belle Glade, isn't he one of the highest paid mayors in the state?
City manager.
City manager?
Yes.
Makes more than the governor.
Makes more than the governor?
$235,000.
$235,000 a year? Yes. So, like Shanique was saying, it's about money and keeping folks quiet. Yeah. Right. Wow. Yeah. $235,000. City manager here in Belle Glade.
That's criminal.
Yeah. Yes. And again, and like you said, they will tell you, right, that Sierra Club is, outside agitators, because they know they are greasing palms and taking care of folk. And like you said, even some of them, their own family members are being harmed and affected by this environmental injustice. But the money is keeping folks' mouths shut.
The love of it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we are a little off schedule. We're going to take a quick break. No more breaks. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask our panelists to come up. We've got Colin Walks, and Maria Gonzalez. Where's Maria? Yes, ma'am. Come on, take a chair. Catherine Martinez. Where's Catherine? Is Catherine here?
Yes, I am.
Okie dokie. Come on, and we're gonna let you take your time, Catherine. Again, we are so honored and have such deep gratitude for the Sierra Club allowing us to come and speak with those who've been impacted by the environmental injustice of these large corporations who, as Keena said, can do something. They can make changes. They've done it for others who have bigger voices, bigger pockets. So without any further ado, I'm going to let the panelists introduce themselves.
Okay. I'm Catherine Martinez, and I am here on behalf of the League of Women Voters, and we should talk a little bit about voting rights, and some of the things that are going on now in Florida with respect to voting.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria R. Gonzalez. I'm a family support worker working at daycare with all families are migrant, working on the fields, and also very involved in my community, my small town Pahokee, with different meetings in the community, involved on most of the needs, and we have, like thousands of people working for the sugar mills and then dealing with this situation also. So I'm very happy to be here.
I'm not sure if it'll reach. I'm fine. I think, can you hear me in the back? That's good. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank the Sierra Club and the Poor People's Campaign for coming here today to the Glades area to listen to us and to help get our message out beyond our area here. I'm a former mayor of the city of Pahokee. I'm a very involved resident. I'm actually on my lunch break. So I'm going to try to be as quick as I can. But I really want to thank Pat and Diane for reaching out and for being here in the community. It's vitally important that we get the voices of the people of the community out, and not the industry's voice, but the people's voice. And the people want change in this community. They will speak it under the trees, they will speak it in their cars, they will speak it in their homes. But it's very difficult to come out and speak it out freely into the community when your livelihood could possibly be threatened. So our community wants different. It's been preached for many years. I'm a product of this area. My family worked in the fields. I've lost family members in the field. And whether the sugar company knows it or not, if they're not paying attention, our families worked hard in the fields so that we would not have to work hard in the fields. And we are returning home now. I returned home in 2010 with the intent on impacting my community, on bringing change to this community. We are coming home. Steve, Shanique, we are coming home. There is a return for us to come home. We are a community of people that has blessed the world over. It's time for us to come home and to help bless our community. Reciprocation is needed from the world. And we are the ones in the world that's changing the world. And we are ready to come home to change our community. There's so much that's needed here. We can go on and on and on and on. But I thank you, Sierra Club. I thank you, Poor People's Campaign, for being here. And I know there are many other eyes on what's happening here in this area. And there are people that's going to, not outsiders, but we are all insiders. And we're here to make this a better place for those of us who are here. We want to make this a better place. Thank you all so very much for being here. Unfortunately, I have to run. I thought I was going to speak a little earlier, but Diane, I'm sorry.
Can you say something real quick about that wonderful work that you do with children?
Yes,
I really wanted them
work
to
with
hear this.
how our area is impacted is through infant mortality, with a lot of the health issues that we are faced with here. In this area, preterm births is at an alarming rate. We are, from a national perspective, one who is trying to bring it to the attention of the healthcare industry, of course, is Serena Williams, who went through her birth. And for black women, dying at birth is almost becoming like a norm. Dying at birth is almost becoming a norm. And it's something that's affecting us here. We're losing a lot of children to preterm birth, to a lot of health problems with the mom. In this area, we spoke about it, respiratory issues is one of those that's at the forefront, to deal with respiratory issues. Of course, steroids and things like that have to be entered into the medical equation. If you become pregnant, now that affects your fetus. So there are things that are happening in the community that we have to bring to the medical industry's attention. They are listening. There are a lot of meetings that I attend where we speak about preterm birth. We speak about women's health when it comes to being pregnant. So there are a lot of new ideas on the horizon. One of the things that we're using tools within the pediatrics now to screen through early pregnancy to try to detect what is causing preterm births outside of what we previously thought, which is the abuse of drugs and alcohol. That's an old argument. Women who care for themselves, when they become pregnant, they will cease alcohol and drug use. It is proven. So that's not what's causing preterm births at the alarming rate. There are other environmental factors, and of course out here we know that the burning of cane is one of those factors. We also know that the older homes in this community, which are lead-based paint homes, asbestos-filled homes, are some of those factors. So there are a lot of different factors in the community, and we're trying to address them. Once again, thank you for giving a voice to that. Yes.
Thank you. You honor us. I mean, I really seriously mean it. Thank you so much.
Colin Walk, C-O-L-I-N-W-A-L-K-D-S. You interviewed me before when I was the mayor of Bohoe. You don't remember?
No, I'm from Orlando.
You're from Orlando? You look so familiar. All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. Yes.
Myself, I don't have, like that much to say. I'm a family support worker for a daycare in the community. I've been doing my job for 27 years. And before we noticed the daycare, I've been the family support worker working with the families. We have a lot of kids with asthma problems. And then we were, we were not paying attention before until I started to come, coming to here for by mistake I came, but I feel very good that I came and start to talk, with the people working with Sierra Club. And then we start to do some resources, and then we have too many kids with asthma problems. And then we have to work with the families. Our situation is harder than other people in the community because we're trying to teach our community, inform them, situation. We know the sugar mills because I live also beside a field, and then you can see ashes all over the place. But our problem in my community, they have a lot of concerns about it. They know the situations, but most of my parents in my community, they don't have legal papers. So to speak about anything, to do a complaint about anything, they very concerned because now immigration laws is being so hard. So they very concerned to lose their papers or they don't have no more job. Because these companies, they even, doing things against the law. They are hiring people that don't have no documents. And this helps my community because that's the only way that they're gonna keep going, they're gonna survive. So our situation is more complicated, whenever you have to talk about it, because I already had, a meeting, because my job and the people in my community is to inform them about Mexican consulate, what is gonna be their legal rights, even, with women compensation. We have a meeting about these issues, and then we have a lot of people that, respond. But how are we gonna deal with this, knowing that this is going on, but I don't have my legal papers? I'm gonna lose my job. If we just form a committee, of people, probably, we're gonna have, and we have 50 people that attend the meeting, but their concern is how they can work, or fight against this if they don't have no legal papers. So it's why I came because I'm gonna be working with Sierra Club so they can guide me how to talk to my community dealing with this big issue that is a major concern. And then it's no way that we're gonna be fixing, like the legal situation for many people, but then they wanna work and do something about it because they know, they see the smoke everywhere in Pahokee, especially because we are a smaller community, and then we are just surround, all these fields. So it's gonna be, very helpful that you guys that come and make the effort, to and take our community in consideration. Can guide me on this. I can work with my community, knowing that just probably 10% of my community is legal. The 90%, because we already made some resources. And then see, when they have to vote for anything, there's no way that I can vote my community because just 10% of people are gonna vote. 90% of my community is just there on the middle of nowhere, just trying to work, and then 90% of my community work in the sugar mills. So that's the type of help that I gonna be, able to request for you guys that have more experience than me, because I just started, to join the Sierra Club. So this is what we need. Every time that we do a meeting, we can start to inform the community what is the consequences, because I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how this work. And I know that they're very concerned and very scared to lose their jobs. Because these people, even if we go to meetings, we have 3 families living in 2-bedroom trailer parks, right? And then all these people work for the sugar mills. We already request that they can provide some of their land, and we have a person that was willing to put trailers in that community to be able to buy them, rent them to buy. They deny it. They don't want to do it. So it's very hard to be trying to work with the community when you don't have nothing else to offer them. I do a lot of home visits, and it's very hard when I see 3 families. It's like 12 people living in a 2-bedroom trailer because there's no housing opportunity. So these people using these families to work for them to make all this money, they don't even have the respect to be, in consideration to provide them at least a decent house. Not holes on the floor, kids playing in dirty roads. So that's, I want to, be involved very good, because this is a very good opportunity, because I see it. But then see, my community, 10% is legal, and then I'm very concerned for the 90%, that they have a way, to complain, but they're very scared to do it because they don't have legal papers. So I was thinking, what I'm going to be talking about, probably, for me it's important, but I don't know, you guys, you think that this can be, something that you can help me with.
Yes. Yes.
So it's going to be very appreciated, because Pahokee, my community, they have, different, very, I have very concerns about this sugar mills not even able to build a community houses. So their workers, they work from 6 in the morning to almost 9, 8 at night. They don't have the opportunity to have a decent house. And they want to complain, because I have a lot of people saying, yeah, I know that my children were, they're playing outside, and they work with these Asians around. But then their concern is, if I just say something, and then some of the companies already know, about this program. And then, because somebody already came to me also, knowing that I work in the community, some of the people that work in the sugar mills, Osceola farms, they came and spoke to me about it. And I said, you don't have to stop me to be saying what I think that I have to say, because I know they have my meetings with them. But their concern is that if I say something or we get involved, we're gonna lose our job because we don't have no legal papers. So it's too many families. 90% of my families don't have no papers, and that's, like, it's a big group. And probably have that group have something to say, but they don't say it because they're very concerned to losing their job or be deported to Mexico. So it's gonna be very, great if you can guide me, help me, because, I don't wanna go and tell them, I'm not a lawyer, and say, oh, no, you come, and I'm gonna do an interview, so nothing is gonna happen to you. I'm not able to say that because I don't know what is gonna happen. So I'm gonna be involved in this program because I live in Pahokee. So any help, any suggestions, whenever, a person has the opportunity to let me know, I can go back and start with our meetings and talk to them about what legal rights they have, or how this is going to affect them in a way, if they have a complaint or they want to, we know that we have a lot of asthma problems in my community, in my daycare. I've been there for 27 years, always an issue. So any help is going to be very, very appreciated. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this. It is important for me because the people that suffer more in our community is the ones that don't have no legal papers. Because they're not able to apply for anything, not able to complain. They just go early in the morning, come home very late, working for these big sugar companies.
Maria, did you get to mention about the housing situation?
Yeah, she did.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have no housing.
Yeah.
No housing in Belle Glade, no housing in Pahokee. So families are living together, and it's very hard. Just imagine 12 people with children living in two-bedroom mobile homes. And then right here, rents are expensive. If you're gonna find once in a while an apartment, you have to pay $575, $550. So it's very hard. The sugar meals they have to take in consideration. This is my people working for me. These people is helping me to make the money. Why we don't build housing projects? I've been fighting with even with the city of Pahokee, with them when I participate on those meetings for many years. In Pahokee, still the same. Well, with the storm we had before, Pahokee never, they didn't went and fix anything. Pahokee still the same, and that's very sad because I love my Pahokee. And then, so any help that you would like to provide to me about it, because we're going to start to have more meetings on this concern. So, so that's the only thing that I can share with you. But this is a big concern for the people that we don't care about our community.
Is your daycare a part of the Redland Christian Migrant
Yes.
Association?
Yes. Yes.
It's powerful.
Yes, the one that is at the Okeechobee Center. And most of our parents, they don't have legal papers, so we work with them and guide them in different ways. But this is a big concern for me and for the people that is involved, having, like meetings in our community. That's a concern that we have, because we know that situation, we know that everybody has that concern, but then this particular 90% is the one that I would like to help, to address or take information to them, something that can help them. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm very grateful for Diana for the opportunity to speak to the group. Diana has a couple of brochures. One is some information about the League of Women Voters. We would like to invite anyone who's not a member who would like to join us. And it says League of Women Voters, but it is not only women. Since 1972, they have admitted men. And the current president, Ken Thomas, of the Palm Beach County chapter is a black man. So we
Right
just
here,
elected him
right
yesterday, yes. So one of them is a voter guide. It has some information about how to contact all of the representatives in our area, and also emails, phone numbers, that kind of thing, and then all the conditions for registering to vote. I think the way that I connect with what's happening today is this idea that voting is power. politicians pay attention to communities that vote. What is the difference between a place like, for example, Palm Beach and Belle Glade? Well, there are blocks in Palm Beach that vote a certain way. So that these politicians know they have to speak to certain factors, they have to say certain things, they have to push certain buttons in order to be able to bring those voters over to their side. So we out here in the Glades, we also need to be united. And we need to work, we need to register. We have a challenge here in terms of getting people registered to vote and then getting them out to vote. So that is one thing that I'm working on. Also, with respect to Amendment 4, last November we passed an amendment with 65% of the vote, which put it into action, which said that all felons who had completed their terms and conditions, that is, they had completed their sentences, they had completed probation, and they had completed any fines that they had to pay, that they would automatically be restored to their voting rights. Now, naturally, as has happened in before with many amendments, the state legislature is in the current process of trying to cancel out this particular amendment. There's a bill wending its way through Congress, through the state legislature, which would basically vitiate the whole purpose of the amendment. However, up to this point, that law is not in act now, and I guarantee you that once it gets into law, it's going to be challenged on a number of fronts. So anyone you know who is a felon, who has completed their probation, has completed their sentence, and has completed any fines that they were ordered to pay, tell them that they can register to vote. When they register to vote, and if you are working on voting drives where it says, I am a felon, and it says my voting rights have been restored, they can check that. And the Attorney General has said that he will not prosecute anyone who checks that box in good faith. So I would encourage anyone that you know that is eligible to have their voting rights restored, get them out, get them registered, do it now. And so it is extremely important. You know, voting to me is one of our basic rights of citizens. You know, we have to pay taxes, we have to vote. These to me, are the most important rights of citizens. So I would encourage all of you to, if you are registered, go out and find someone who's not, register them, get them in, get them involved, because that's the way we can make change. That's really the way we can get politicians to to pay attention. That if you have groups that vote, especially if they vote a certain way, you know that you're going to get their attention. Now, I'd like to put on another hat as a member of the Baha'i Faith. I felt inspired because I feel this is a sacred place, because so many people have offered prayers. So I would like to offer a prayer for this group for unity. Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them strength to serve thee. Lead them not unto themselves, but guide their steps by the light of knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily thou art their helper and their Lord. Thank you very much. And if anyone would like to come up to me afterwards, if you'd like me to mark my email, personal information, I'll be happy to share it with you. Diana also has it. She has the brochures, and in the registration also I have my information there.
I was going to say, and as a woman, some people understand, women know everything about oppression. Because it was just, less than 100 years ago when we finally got our right to vote in the United States.
Right,
so.
by the way, the League will be celebrating April of next year, 2020, we're celebrating 100 years.
Yay!
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. So we have a video from our national co-chair. Reverend Liz Theo Harris was with us yesterday. We were so grateful to have her come down Immokalee is a special place for her. She has a 20-year history going back with them. Organizing, and they graciously allowed us to come down to CIW, the Coalition for Immokalee Workers, and have just a sit down and a discussion about the work that they've been doing, the struggles that they've gone through as well. And so we were grateful to have Reverend Liz leave us with a few words to share with you today. She couldn't stay, but she wanted to leave a few words with you for our hearing today. So Patrick is loading that up for us. And while, we've got
Yeah.
just waiting on the sound, okay.
For being a part of the Poor People's Campaign.
Thank you, Patrick.
Good afternoon. This is Reverend Dr. Liz Theo Harris. I'm honored to be the co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign and National Call for More Revival. And I want to thank you all for gathering today, for being a part of the Poor People's Campaign, and for your willingness to tell your stories. Movements begin with the telling of untold stories, and the experiences, the injustice that folks all over Florida are experiencing need to be told. The country needs to hear and weep and then take up action to resolve these issues. As the Reverend Dr. King said in the last years of his life, the poor and dispossessed of this nation live in a cruel and unjust society. If they can be helped to take action together, they will do so with a freedom and a power that will be a new and unsettling force in our complacent national life. I believe that you all gathered there this afternoon are that new and unsettling force. Taking action together, telling stories, and committing to seasons, years, a long-haul struggle of building a movement led by those most impacted by racism and poverty, by ecological devastation and the war economy, and impacted by this distorted moral narrative that blames poor people for our problems, all of society's problems, that pits us against each other and feeds us the lie of scarcity when we're living in a world of beautiful abundance. Thank you for sharing your stories. I wish I could be with you in person, but I am surely there with you in spirit. Be well, and we'll be together again. Bye-bye.
Yes, woo, is right. I so appreciate Reverend Liz, and there are some things and some brief words I want to share with you before we close out. And I'm so grateful she said that we are a new unsettling force, because that was actually the song I wrote. I want to share with you as we close out. Contrary to common myths, our country, as she mentioned, is the richest in the world and has abundant resources to protect the environment and ensure dignified lives for all people. The problem is a matter of priorities, as we talked about earlier. As more and more wealth flows into pockets of a small but powerful few and into our bloated Pentagon budget, our government budget, right? Florida has spent $1.1 billion in public subsidies for corporations, right? Talk about corporate welfare over the past 5 years without doing as much as they could to ensure funds are used to create green jobs, as Kina and Shanique mentioned, for low-income communities. The Poor People's Campaign has developed a detailed moral agenda based on fundamental rights that would revive the efforts of Dr. King and many others for the values in America. This agenda includes demands on federal and state governments to ensure the wealthy and corporations pay their fair share of urgent social needs, including decent and affordable housing. As we heard before, there's a need for affordable housing, quality education and health care, safe and affordable water, and job creation. We're also looking to ensure the right to clean water and air and a healthy environment, and increased public investment in jobs programs. And green jobs, as we heard earlier, would be the best thing to transition us to a green economy here in this area. So we are so grateful again to the Sierra Club for inviting us in, and for the stories that we heard today of folks who are impacted by the environmental injustice what's happening in this community. Because we are a new, unsettling force, and we are powerful, and we're here. Which are the words of the song that I'm going to share with you. We are a new, unsettling force, and we are powerful. These are the words. And we are here. We are a new, unsettling force for liberation, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains. So I'm going to close out with that song, and I encourage you to sing along with us, because we are a new, unsettling force, and we are powerful, a new, unsettling force, and we're here, a new, unsettling force for liberation, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains. We are a new, unsettling force, and we are powerful, a new, unsettling force, and we're here, a new, unsettling force for liberation, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains, and we've got nothing to lose but our chains. I am so grateful. It's been a moment, a day, and the last couple of days have been so amazing. We're grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.